You're listening to the Straight to Video podcast with Rob Lane.
What's up? Hope you're well, and as always, thank you for choosing to listen to the Straight to Video podcast. It's always great to get one of these episodes out to you, and this one in particular I'm excited to share as I've been listening to this band's album non-stop recently, and damn, it's great. The new album from Kelsy Karter and The Heroines, titled Love Made Me Do It, was released just a few weeks ago, and if you're a fan of killer hard rock tunes but have been struggling to find a new band that is doing it like legit, then this one is for you. So I'm tough to please. Most new music passes me by, especially when someone says that I should love it because it's got all those 80s hooks and big choruses that I love. But most of the time, I just don't hear it. As soon as I heard the likes of Love Goes On and Hotel Flamingo, though, from this new album, I knew it was the real deal. Plus, you can throw in the fact that the band did a fantastic homage to the classic Lita Ford video Kiss Me Deadly with the promo for their single Laser to the Heart, so my attention was immediately piqued. On today's show, I bring you a chat with Kelsy Karter herself, who whilst growing up and living all over the world, now resides just down the road from me in Derby. Kelsy was a great, super fun guest, really on the ball with her own identity and goals, and after a roller coaster 2024 for the band, which saw them deal with some well-documented and, quite frankly, scary experiences with US work visas, they now have all guns blazing, just completed a US tour, getting set for European and UK dates, and everything seems set to blow up for this great band. We chat about all of this and so much more, so I hope you enjoy our talk. If you want to find out more about the band and their new album, check out Kelsy Karter and theheroines.com or follow them on social media and particularly YouTube because their videos are incredible. But for now, please enjoy my straight to video chat with Kelsy Karter. Pretty good, Tar. Lovely to see you. How are you? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm good. I just got into England yesterday. Thank you for the switch.
It's all right.
There was an issue with the plane I was on, so they moved me to the next day, which meant I was traveling when we were supposed to get on. So I appreciate you moving.
No problem. So I bet you're feeling great today.
You know what? I actually feel pretty good today. Yesterday, I was like, because I got the 3:30 flight from LA, which meant that I was flying in the day and I couldn't sleep. When I got in, it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock for me. So I was like, oh, now I'm going to get tired and I'm going to be sleeping in the middle of the day. But no, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm chilling.
So are you in Derby?
I am, yes.
Nice. Well, I'm just down the road from you. I'm like 10 miles away. I'm like near Ripley, Heanor kind of way. Just down
cool.
the A38. So yeah, not too far away. A bit of an introduction. I had Adam on the show it was probably like 4 years ago now, I think.
Oh, wicked. Okay, cool.
I think we've got quite a few mutual friends. I got to know Adam through Nat Webb.
Oh, Nat.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's the best.
I've recorded with Nat a bunch of times, and I got to know Nat through Seb's old band, Eva Plays Dead, because they did some acoustic stuff years ago. I was like, oh, I wonder where they recorded this, and it was Nat's old studio in his old house.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we recorded some, obviously because of Seb and Adam, I'm close with Nat now too, but we recorded some of the album at Nat's studio. Some of the drum stuff we did there remotely, with LA through Nat. But Seb lives with us in Derby and he just left and he was just like, oh, Rob's the best. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to connect, to say all mutual friends, but you never actually meet all these other people.
I know, agreed.
So first up, congratulations on the new album, Love Made Me Do It.
Thank you so much.
An album, whilst only just released, it must feel like it's been on its own epic journey already with challenges outside the band's control during 2024. So how does it feel to finally have it out there? I think you finally got to play the Roxy in Hollywood to close out the recent US tour. Was that the official release show for the album?
I think it kind of became its own, it kind of became the finale of the US tour because that show obviously was rescheduled 3 times because of things that happened beyond our control, but then it just kept happening and we were like, oh my gosh. It was funny because Seb actually said the day of the show, he's like, I'm not actually playing LA until we've completed playing LA because it got rescheduled so many times. We were like, is this just bad luck or something.
That's a normal band attitude to have. It's like the tour's never happening until you're on that stage. But you guys took it to the next level, I think.
Well, we've had a particularly, like, it's kind of, we just have to laugh at it now. We've had such an insane few years with touring stories that have happened. And then last year, obviously, we found out a week before our headline tour across America that, we were in business with a, for lack of a better term, a scam artist, criminal, whatever you want to call it. But basically the boys' visas weren't real. And yeah, we didn't have visas like we thought. So I had to do a 6-week tour on my own.
I mean, that's a minefield on its own, just the US visa thing. And here's you guys thinking, right, we're doing it proper. We're figuring it all out. And you hear horror stories from people who do it you was doing it the legit way as far as you thought. But then to have that rug pulled under you at the last minute as well. I can't imagine. I watched I rewatched your TikTok video when you explained it. And I was like, I get all stressed out when I'm hearing all my throat tight. So I can't imagine what that was like.
I know. And it was just a really violating experience, if nothing else, because we were working with this person, for a long time, trying to figure everything out and just kind of doing what they told us to do. And it was all just misleading bullshit. Luckily, I'm an American citizen, so I don't have that issue. But so I had to do that tour on my own, which, the album kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed because of all these bits and bobs. The tour that I did on my own last year was already a rescheduled tour by the advice of the person, which pushed the album, and everything was just like baseless directives that we got. Anyway, the album came out finally a couple months ago, and yeah, I'm buzzing about it. We're all loving performing the new album live. It's just a different level now with these new songs, and it feels good. I haven't wanted to start, I have wanted to start the next album, but I didn't want to start the next album until this album was out, because the second it comes out, it's like, okay, it's released now. It's not mine, it's yours. Do what you want with it. But before that moment, I'm kind of holding on to it, not wanting to exit that world until it's out.
Have you seen it in a shop yet?
Well, yeah, because we've been doing on the US tour, we did a bunch of in-stores. So we were doing little acoustic performances along the tour in record stores. And yeah, it's obviously really cool to see the thing that just came from your brains then in a physical form and then being, sold to fans in stores. That's a really cool feeling.
How do you feel about in-stores? Do you enjoy doing them?
Yeah, really enjoy doing them. Obviously, we released the physical albums through Licorice Pizza, which is one of the most iconic, record stores in history. And the owner of that, Kerry Brown, is such an incredible man and big fan of us. And we've just had an instant connection with him. So me and Peach went into Licorice Pizza one day and we're just hanging out with him. And, he's such a legend in his own right. And we just connected and we're like, okay, should we do the album together? It was just a really organic experience. It wasn't businessy. It wasn't egotistical. It was just it's how you want business to be in this industry, but it really is. So that was really cool. And then they obviously have a store on Ventura in LA. And because the album release at the Roxy was moved, whatever you want to call it, we kind of shifted to doing the in-store in LA, kind of ended up being the album release. It was just more of an intimate setting. That was really cool. We did that at Licorice Pizza, and then we did one in Austin at a pretty iconic record store there as well. It was sick because I had, big billboards in the windows of us and
old school. I love it.
Yeah. So we've done a few of those, and we're going to do some in UK as well.
Have you ever been to an in-store yourself from the other side of the table?
I haven't, never.
Didn't Adam do a McFly one? And that's how he got their demo tape.
Oh, he did.
Harry at one time.
Yeah, he stood outside waiting, and bless him, yeah. But yeah, that's how he got to there, because they used to be managed by the same management as McFly, I think.
It's crazy. You never know how things work out.
I know. And then, you know what? One of the guys in McFly sent Adam a message about one of our songs and said, oh, we love this song in the green room. And then it was a video of McFly jamming to our song Love Goes On before their gig. It was cool, yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool when you make fans out of your peers, you know what I mean? It's a surreal feeling a lot of the time. At our LA show, we had Billy Idol, Pat Smear from the Foo Fighters, just in the audience there to see us. And it's just such a surreal feeling to have your heroes be fans of you. And, we've been friends with Pat for a few years. He's such a lovely man. And
is he always smiling? Every photo is smiling.
Pretty smiley dude, to be fair. But I'm actually working on something with him and his wife in the film and TV space, which is cool. But having someone, I mean, he came to our show back in 2019 in LA, and I didn't know him then, but he just came to watch, and it was like obviously surreal there. But it's really nice when you have an organic connection with people, because it's very hard for me to like fake a friendship or fake a connection with someone. I have to like, it's all written on my face if I don't like someone, you know what I mean? So even if I wanted to, I couldn't pull it off. It's just not in me. So it's really nice when you actually genuinely connect with your heroes.
Who else have you crossed paths with out in LA, like at the Rainbow or anything like that? Have you been sat in there and somebody's walked in or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. By the way, Adam and I met at the Rainbow. So the most important person I ever met there is definitely Adam. He's, you know, the center of my universe now. But really cool story. Me and Adam were at the Taylor Hawkins tribute at Wembley after he passed away. And we were walking backstage, the dressing room area, and there was no one around. And I went to push the hallway door open, and it opened before I could. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I walk in, and it's Paul McCartney that's just opened the door for me. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. Like, how do I finish that sentence? And then Adam was behind me, and I was like, oh my God, he hasn't seen him yet. And then Adam went to go, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. And it was like, these like levels of thanking Paul McCartney for opening the door. He was lovely. And then later on, we were all like drinking backstage. And it's just, yeah, we're just standing there, me, Adam, our mate Geth, who's in Adam's band, and Paul McCartney. And we're all just standing there with a drink, chatting with him. And I said, oh, do you remember me? You met me in the hallway. And he was like, how could I forget? And I was just like,
yes,
you know, Paul McCartney says that to you, whether he meant it or not. It was really cool to like, you know, just shoot the shit with one of the Beatles. Like, what?
Unreal. So is it Sir? Is it Mr. McCartney? Is it Paul? Which way do you go in that situation?
I think I called him mate. So who knows? And then he hands Adam his drink, and it was a tequila orange or tequila pineapple, and he just hands Adam his drink in a martini glass. He says, finish that, would you?
Like, how can we smuggle this away?
Yeah,
It's got Paul McCartney's DNA on it.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the most notable person I've ever, probably one of the most notable people I've ever met. But that was actually in London. So I don't know, LA, you get kind of climatized to like seeing people because you do see them all the time. And I'm not too enamored by celebrity status unless, you know, I'm like a true fan of someone. So Billy Idol definitely up there. Like when we got that tour, it was for sure a big milestone for us, big pinch me moment, because yeah, he's one of my biggest inspirations.
Nice. And you ended up getting Steve Stevens on guitar on the new album to do a solo.
Yeah, well, Steve was another like really organic relationship. We covered a song by Heart called Alone that went really viral. I guess Steve saw it and then tweeted it. And I saw that he tweeted it, and I DM'd him and I was like, hey, Steve, just want to say thanks for the support. You know, if you guys ever need support, we're here. And then 3 months later, we got the offer, and it was really cool because on the tour, we're backstage in Reno, second night of the tour, third night of the tour. And, you know, when you're on the road with such legends, you kind of want to watch your etiquette. You just learn their like way of doing things. So everyone has their own way of touring. We have our own way, you know, every band and artist does. So we were just kind of hanging back and letting them take the lead on like talking to us and stuff like that. You know, I want to respect it. And then I'm walking backstage and Steve's like, oh, Kelsy, I have a question. And he was all like, it's just so lovely. And he's like, I don't want to impose, but if you have any room, like I'd love to get on stage and play with you during the tour. And I was like, you want to play with us? You're the headliner and you want to play with us? And he was like, you know, I don't want to impose. And I was like, I think we can sort something out. So yeah, Steve came up and played with us a few times on the tour. Yeah, and then I asked him to feature on Painkiller, and he said yes before I even finished the sentence. He didn't actually, but you know what I'm saying? Like his reaction was just so instant, yeah. And then he smashed the solo, obviously. So it's been really lovely to get to know such an incredible musician and legend in his own right.
From what I've seen, like such an icon as a guitar player, he seems to be constantly looks like a rock star 24/7.
He does, yeah. He's got stories too. Like the stories he told us, like our videographer was like filming, and I've watched it back and I'm like, God, I won't post any of it, but just seeing the conversation and like being a fly on the wall in like some of these conversations, like they've got so many cool stories from back in the day, and times are so different now. But us kids are trying to keep it alive best we can.
You grew up all around the world, but Los Angeles was home for you as a teenager, I believe, and you spend a lot of time out there now. I've not been out there for probably 10 plus years now. How is it for a rock band out there these days? Will it always have a vibe like nowhere else, or have you seen it change a lot?
You know what? I have lived all over. I was born in New Zealand. I grew up predominantly in Australia, but my dad's side of the family all from LA. So yeah, I spent like half my life there as well. And Seb and I were actually talking about this last night. We were saying, okay, the floor is lower and the ceiling is higher when it comes to diversity in music in LA or America in general. So I think there's much more, not unique, but diverse kind of acts in America, like than there are over here. Everything here, I mean, I love it, but a lot of it sounds similar to each other. In America, you can get like the craziest opposite kind of acts, but also at the same time, you get like more delusional, more delusion in America, I guess. So the ceiling and the ceiling's lower, the floor is higher.
That makes total sense, yeah. Do you think social media has something to do with that? It's almost like an expansion of, it's like an old thing where when you're in a band, you could be massive in your hometown, but as soon as you go out of that hometown, no one knows, no one cares. And is social media the same thing? You've got all your friends saying, oh, you're great, you're great, you're great, and they get that delusional attitude, but it perhaps doesn't translate.
I think that any kind of interaction on social media feeds into our ego. Even trolling, like I've dealt with so much trolling in my career, and it becomes addictive, even if it's negative. So I think that giving interaction to people on a grand scale, so whether it's a lot of good stuff or a lot of bad stuff, it still feeds into the same thing, the same ego button that we have inside of us. So it's like, oh, any press is good press, and let me keep going, because like hate is going to hate, and people will use that to feed their ego in a way. You know, it's all how we shape it in our minds. And I know this firsthand because I've had to shape negativity for my own, like handling it myself. I'm like, okay, this is the reason. And it's just shifting your perspective on it. So anyone can do that. You know what I mean? Whether you're good or not. But to answer your question, I think the rock scene in America it's really good. It's really good. There's pros and cons to it comparatively to the UK. I do find personally here in the UK, I do find it is more about the music and crafting a great song. Whereas in LA, it's very much like, how can I go viral quickly? And that can skew your like artistic direction so much, because you're just like, how do I get the numbers? You know, and it's what the industry's telling you as well. You need to go viral. Your numbers aren't big enough. Like, do this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm down to make content, quote unquote. We're all content creators at the end of the day. Like if you're in the modern day and you have a social media account, you're a bloody content creator. So don't get too precious. Get off your high horse and just play the game. But at the same time, the music comes first. What's the point of like making content if you don't have the music to back it, you know?
Looking at your stuff, your content is valuable stuff. It is creative content. It's not just walking down the street, flashing a smile. Look where we are today. You specifically put something out, which is either showing how something came together or making a statement. I think it's great to look at, like just going through your YouTube channel or anything like that, or any of your social medias. It's valuable content, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And like content, the word is such a bad word to artists today, but it's like changed my mindset on it when my old management was like, you need to get on TikTok. You need to get on TikTok. This is back in 2020. And I was like, I don't want to get on TikTok, blah, blah, blah. And I had that I'm real artist mindset. You know what I mean? I don't want to be dancing on TikTok, because that's kind of what it was then. But I got on there, obviously, and I decided that I was going to change my mindset about it, because I was a theatre kid. You know, I wanted to be a movie star, an actor when I was a kid, and a director. And I love writing scripts, and film and TV stuff is like a big part of my world now as well. And I was like, okay, this thing here, this is a TV network. And I'm the showrunner of that TV network. And I get to curate any show, any film, anything I want to curate onto my TV network. I am the guy who you got to go through. So when I changed my brain and was like, oh, wow, this is like what I've always dreamt of. You know what I mean? Like, let me play into it. And then when I started to think of it that way, it became fun rather than like a chore or like something I didn't want to do. But I think the great thing about it is I love connecting with fans. I love connecting with other musicians and bands and sharing our experiences and stuff. You know, like going back to your question about the US and the scene, it's like I really enjoy the differences between the UK and America and the way things operate. I really enjoy experiencing both, because touring in America is vastly different to touring in Europe or the UK. I prefer touring in the UK and Europe personally, just because of the drives. But yeah, it's a different scene. Neither of them is like better or worse. I love the British rock scene so much. I have like a new love affair with so much of the British music scene from like times before, you know what I mean? Like I'm so inspired by so many incredible British bands.
That's encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
Because I don't play out as much as I used to, but yeah, so many horror stories about venues closing but there is all these scenes out there. It's just people aren't seeing a lot of them. You got to be out there to experience it. So it's great to know that you're a working band getting a positive vibe, that it is great out there.
Yeah, I love it. Like, don't get my ceiling to floor thing twisted. I wasn't saying that because the ceiling's higher in America that everything in the UK is, and I'm probably more inspired by the UK music scene than the US one. But diversity, I feel like because England is smaller, the sound is a lot more similar to each other. Like you'll find 10 bands that kind of sound like they could be on the same album. Whereas in America, you'll get like the craziest shit that sounds nothing like the next guy. And they're both inspiring. Like both music scenes are really inspiring. I think that I love the like middle class everyman spirit that goes through a lot of English music. Whereas in America, everything is like the land of the dreams. And it's like this big, almost delusional mindset. But both I'm so inspired by. You know, I think that they're both really great.
I totally get that. That's where I was growing up. This is going back to your album, really, because I love the sound of your album. For me, it's being a hard rock fan. I love all the bands that exploded from that Hollywood scene. I can hear elements in your new album ranging from the 70s, particularly the 80s, which I gravitate to, into the 90s. I'm a sucker for sugary rock songs on your record. So Love Goes On and I Get Off the, holy shit, this is awesome. This is right up my street. But when I was growing up, I had friends who hated the kind of music I liked because they said it was cheesy, it was too overblown. But that's the things I liked about it. I loved the American style of it, but I can see where a lot of people relate to the English side of stuff because it's like homegrown, it's real. It's those two different parallels. When I listen to music, I want something larger than life. I want it big, bombastic, and almost untouchable.
Yeah, well, they're kind of like the two things that they actually tell you in like music PR and stuff. You've got to be the girl next door or you've got to be an alien. And it's like you can't be anything in between. But I fucking disagree with that. Like, you got to be you, man. And then you got to like lean into that. And if that makes you otherworldly or if that makes you so relatable, like just do you and you'll fall into the category you're supposed to fall into.
I think you said one time, you're not confused, you're complex, which I love that.
Yeah, well, that's what they tell you, like, especially as a woman, like they tell you you've got to pick a thing and then be that. And I kind of played their game for so long. I was like, okay, I guess I'm the bad girl because that's what they're telling me I got to be, like, oh, rebellious. And I genuinely had people on my team at the time tell me I couldn't post photos smiling. And I couldn't post anything that had like an emotional attachment to it because I was confusing people because I'm not always the like knife carrying, cigarette smoking tough girl. I genuinely had that happen over the years. And this is just like, you know, PR people that we bring in that kind of like, what do you call them? Like advisors or whatever. This is what people said. And these people didn't know me. So it's like they're purely talking from like a outside view standpoint. I was like, what the fuck am I listening to these nonsense for? You don't know me. So just tell my team, like, I'm going to do me. And if it works kind of thing.
I think that should be how it is with a PR person. They should get to know you. Then how do we amplify you on a larger scale rather than mold you in a certain direction because that's what works? No, what do we like about you and let's amplify that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's just where like no one's going to know you like your best mates, you know what I mean? Or your people you cry to, they know you the best. I always say there's Kelsy Karter and then there's Kelsey Marie. I am the soft, vulnerable, like, you know, empathetic woman. And then I'm also the character that people see on stage. And I am both of those things. I'm not putting on one or hiding the other. It's like I am both of those. And it was really liberating to say that and sing that and portray that through this new album because I felt like so trapped and confused. I did feel confused. And then when I realized that I wasn't, I was just complex. I was like, yeah, let me go, you know, head first into this. And it's easy, man. When you just being you, like, it's just easy. When you're not sitting there being like, oh my gosh, I have to be this and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't love wearing color, right? I don't love wearing colorful things. I'd go to shoots and you'd have stylists hired for the shoot and they'll like tell you like, oh, what's the vibe or what's the mood board? And I've always been and always will be like creative directing, spearheading that thing. We have a wonderful creative director who does everything with me, but I will always be, you know, the head of the snake. And I'd go into these shoots and this stylist, you send them the mood board and you say, this is what it is. And then they come and they've just completely said, fuck off to your mood board, brought in all this color where it explicitly says black, white, you know, leopard, gold, silver, no color. And then they bring in pink and blue and purple and you get on set and you just kind of like, oh, you don't want to be rude. I'm rude now. You're not going to tell me what I need to be because that's what you want in your portfolio. Don't fucking accept the job, mate. You know what I mean? You're hired by a client who knows who they are. Sorry. And so I just realized like I don't really work with stylists anymore because I'm like, no one knows me like me. You're just going to make me feel like I'm in cosplay if I let you have the reins. So it's like a balance because collaboration is king. Like that is an incredible way to get great stuff. But you have to be compatible with who you're collaborating with. And they have, to your point, know who you are. And that's why I do love working with my friends and people that really know me because I feel comfortable with them and I don't have to explain myself to them or apologize for being myself. And it's nice to work with your mates for sure.
I'd love to chat about your music videos because they're on such an epic scale. Is that you spearheading them a lot as well with like creative director?
Oh, yeah, everything. My whole career, at the beginning, I was kind of like, oh, what do I do? And where do you want me? Kind of thing. But I did like girl bands and I was doing shit I didn't like and just finding my way when I was first starting out, as we all do. And then quickly realized that I didn't like someone else telling me what to do and where to stand and what to wear and what to say. So I just started kind of learning myself and being that I always wanted to, act and direct and be on Broadway and films and stuff. I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for me to like practice for that for one day and channel that passion into my music and visuals. So yeah, I love directing. I love producing. I love writing scripts and stuff. So the album trailer, I wrote that and I wrote it for me and it was purely like, if anyone watches it, cool. But like, that's just me, like my like hobby and something I love. And then we have a creative director who co-creative directs everything with me and she directs some of our stuff and basically world builds with me and the boys on everything. So it's nice I've never really had someone that I trusted with that role outside of me, but she's like my second brain. Like she really elevates the ideas that I have. She'll know how to bring them to life, because she's a technical photographer, videographer, and she shot the album cover and knew how to do that. Like I came to her with this idea of like, I want to be kissing myself, one's naked, one's not. And she was like, cool, let's do it, and knew how to do it. So it's really nice to have like a second person to bounce those things off.
I love the behind the scenes of the album cover shoot.
Oh, yeah.
You'd expect it to be in some big studio and it just in a backyard in Derby.
Yep, right here in Derby, back there.
It's wicked. Regarding the videos, I love, like you said, like world building on them because they're all on such a great scale. I mean, a lot of them shot in LA, you never shot of cool landscapes and all that kind of stuff. So it always looks epic. But when I saw the Laser to the Heart video, I immediately messaged Seb. I was like, dude, Lita Ford influence or what? Because that's what I grew up on. I was like, damn.
Peach and I were in LA, in our house in LA, and we're signed to Monster Music, Monster Energy. And our wonderful rep there, Tim, who we're very close with, he was just over at the house, like listening to some of the album with us. And we had like a music video, like, when you put YouTube on it, it just kind of loops to the next thing. And we were playing Laser to the Heart for Tim. And as that happened, the Lita Ford video like popped up and we had the TV on mute. So you couldn't hear the Lita Ford song, but you could see it. We were playing Laser and I was watching it. I was like, that's fucking perfect. Like it's so perfect. So I sent it to Whitney and I said, what if we like recreate this video as like our version of it, like overtly copying it? You know what I mean? It was paying homage. We weren't trying to hide that we were doing the Lita Ford Kiss Me Deadly music video. So then Whit was like, let's do it. We shot that in London, had some guys that we knew from Derby that did pyrotechnics for festivals and stuff. And yeah, we just kind of made it happen. So I love that you saw that and noticed that, because not everyone does.
And it's so hard to create that look of videos from that time. A lot of bands who are in that kind of scene try to do it. And I'm like, I can see what you're trying to do, but I don't know, there's something missing.
And do you know what that is just the right collaborations, the right brains in the same room at the same time. One thing that I really, am proud of with this album is a lot of acts these days, bands these days who are influenced by the 80s. It almost feels cosplay or like cover band. And it's like, if you're going to do something that's clearly inspired by a different time, you have to also make it of the time, of our time. And I think that we did that quite well in this album to sonically make it new, but the influences are obviously screaming at you at the same time. So we wanted the visual to also have that element to it. If we're going to shoot a video from the 80s, it can't also be looking like it was made on an 80s video camera. That's kind of our mindset, was like, let's marry the two, old and new, make our own thing.
Love it. So you've taken on the US, you've finally got that US tour out of the way, you're heading to Europe soon and coming to the UK, coming to the Bodega in Nottingham, smallest non-dressing room on planet Earth.
Oh, yeah.
But pretty much a hometown gig for your band members, being from just down the road in Derby. You lived in New Zealand, Australia, LA, and now very familiar with Derby of all places. What are some of your favourite places in the city or surrounding areas which you call home and like going to?
You know what? I like going to there's a couple of vintage stores over there, like thrift stores. One of our good friends lives in Derby, she's an incredible wig designer and hairstylist. And the rehearsal studios are in Derby. We go to Dubrek and Alpha Pro. I don't really hang out in Derby, to be honest. I'll go to Nottingham probably more to like hang out. I do like the city centre of Nottingham a little bit more.
For me, Nottingham's always been a rock town. Derby's always had like an indie vibe to it.
Yeah. But if I'm honest, I don't go out a lot. Like if I'm not on tour or working, I'm at home quite a lot. We do poker nights and I love to cook.
You're older than your years. You're already saying, I want to stay at home.
Yeah, well, when you're on the road, every night is a night out, so when you're not on the road, you want to like come home, and people definitely think I'm an extrovert, or they perceive me as an extrovert, but I am for sure an introvert. So the second I get to like be on my own, I'm like, yes, this is incredible.
You mentioned on my buddy Darren Paltrowitz's podcast a while ago, you'd like to open a diner someday. Would that be in Hollywood or Derby?
Adam and I were talking about this recently. I actually want to open a venue.
Nice.
I really want to like make a theater. I know it's such an ambitious thought, but we've been to so many venues in our lives, and there's so many shitty venues out there. And every time we're in a shitty venue or at a venue that has something that doesn't make any sense, I'm like writing it down, jotting it down, because I'm like, I'm going to make the best venue ever. And it's going to be the best venue for fans, and it's going to be the best venue for the bands that play there.
Aren't always the best venues the ones which are run by someone who was in a band?
Yeah, that's what Adam said. Yeah. And then I want to have like a diner attached to it. But I don't know. I don't think LA. I think it would have to be outside of like the major cities, because the whole like appeal to it will be you're bringing a different type of establishment to a place that doesn't have it. There's no way that Derby or the Midlands have like an authentic New York style deli diner. I'd love to bring that here. I'm Jewish and I love a good Jewish deli, but you don't know what that is unless you've been to one. So it'd be cool to, maybe one day.
What's next for the band after these shows? You going to be doing more videos or anything like that? Or are you even thinking that far ahead?
We are going on tour in Europe and the UK, and then we're going to start writing the next album, which I'm buzzing about. And we're supporting Hailstorm on tour in the summer. And then we might have something really exciting happening in October, which I'm not going to say until it's like confirmed. But yeah, probably just writing until then. I'm going to be doing some, this thing I was speaking of earlier with Pat and his wife and some people in New York. We're going to be working on some film and TV stuff. Yeah, just getting back at it. Write the next album, do some videos. We have a video for every song on the album that's coming out. They're performance videos, but they are really cool. Really cool. So that's coming out soon. Not sure about any more music videos. Oh, yeah, we do. Oh, my God. Yeah, we got 2 more music videos coming. I forgot about that. Got a music video for Runaway and a music video for I Get Off.
Sweet.
Got so much content. You know what I'm saying?
And your merch, just in closing, your merch always shows a lot of thought, and the quality and imagination is next level. Is there one piece of merchandise you yet to do and get around producing?
Oh my God. Yeah, there's so much merch I want to do. I like kind of get off on it, you know. I'm so sick of seeing and sick of doing it myself. It's just like band t-shirts. It's like I don't need another Gildan size medium fucking screen printed t-shirt from a band I like. I wanted to make it a more unique experience. So treat it more like a brand rather than a merch. And it's really fun to like curate what kind of merch piece we're going to do next and working with manufacturers like directly and designing them. You know, me and Whitney design everything. And then I kind of like source manufacturers and really do it from the ground up. I find it really enjoyable. And I think that like when that love and care is gone into merch, it makes it more of an experience for fans. And it's funny, like Seb and I were talking about this last night. People, their perception of how musicians make money is so skewed. Merch is how we make money to be able to do what we do. You don't make it from streaming. It's like people don't fully understand like how this operates on the business side. We're paying to do our career. We're investing in it. We're investing in our dreams, and merch is such a great way to do that and to hopefully make a profit, you know?
And you can have fun with it as well, like you say.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, so if I'm going to push merch onto people and ask people to support us, I need them to enjoy what they're spending their money on. And I just ask myself, what kind of merch would I buy? What do I want? And I actually use our merch now. I have everything and I use it and I wear it. And I say use it because we have like ashtrays and
that is cool. I love that you found a supplier for ashtrays.
Oh, yeah. They're not like our biggest seller in America because people don't smoke. I mean, people smoke, but less of a thing. Whereas in Europe and the UK, people smoke. So I'm like, I'm interested to see how the ashtrays do on tour. But yeah, it's fun. It's just another, like, if we're going to do this career, like, we might as well enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
I think you've got like 4 different versions of the album on cassette, and each one's got a photo of each band member on there. Is that kind of setting up for arguments when one is less popular than the other? Or is that the gamble? You got to see who sells the best. It's a challenge.
Well, obviously, I'm going to be the most popular.
Obviously. No one wants to see it in the bargain bin.
No. I mean, I'm topless on there. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's just creating an experience for fans, making it feel special, making it feel like they're part of something. Like, when I changed from Kelsy Karter to Kelsy Karter The Heroines, it wasn't just because of the boys. It was because of the fans and the community that we've built. We didn't get into this business for algorithms and playlists and numbers. We got into it for connection, and any way that we can connect with people through the music, whatever medium that is, you know, physical, audio, merch, whatever it is, we want to make the experience as wicked as possible for the fans because we're in this together at the end of the day, you know.
Lovely way to end it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Rob. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much to Kelsy Karter for joining me on today's show. Again, I can't stress how great the new Kelsy Karter and the Heroines album, Love Made Me Do It, is. So please give it a listen, and if you enjoy it, pick up a ticket for their upcoming UK tour. I've got my tickets for Nottingham and I'm really looking forward to the big rock show. Everything you need can be found at KelseyKarterandtheheroines.com. So it's been a really busy few months over at our 80s video shop in Alfreton recently. I want to thank everyone that came out and made our Mike Quinn meet and greet event such a success, and I know Mike himself had a great day. Next up is an appearance from OG Gladiator from the original 1990s TV show. Cobra will be swinging by the shop on Saturday the 12th of April from 12 noon till 4, so come along and meet the legend himself. Also, thanks to everyone who reached out about all the cool press coverage we received recently. Things seem to really blow up online with countless articles about the shop in the national press, from the Daily Express to even the New York Post. And we had a bunch of great printed features, even making the Daily Star, which was crazy cool to see. Chris and I continue to be blown away by the response, and we're working hard to make things bigger and better at the shop all the time. So please keep up to date on all social media, simply at 80s Video Shop, and swing by and see us soon. So that's it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and until we chat again, make sure to always be kind, please rewind and unwind, and I'll speak to you all real soon.